Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Friday, August 2nd, 2024. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin with an update on All Elite Wrestling's television contract negotiations. The exclusive negotiating window between AEW and Warner Bros. Discovery has closed without a deal officially being made, according to Fightful Select. This means that AEW is free to negotiate with other parties to potentially carry its content. However, it's still reportedly expected that a deal will be made between AEW and WBD, and a meeting has been scheduled between Tony Khan and WBD CEO David Zaslav to take place this weekend in Paris during the Olympics. TNA Wrestling presented Impact last night on Access TV, featuring matches taped on July 21st in Montreal, Quebec. In the main event, Nick Nemeth defeated Mustafa Ali to retain the TNA World Championship. Josh Alexander came out to confront Nemeth after the match.
Oh, and look at this. The walking weapon, Josh Alexander, who made his presence felt earlier on tonight, assaulting Ryan Nemeth after a matchup with Frankie Kazarian. It's clear that his focus is on Nick Nemeth and the TNA World Championship.
As if there was any doubt that the walking weapon has one goal and one goal only.
The show ended with Santino Marella officiating the wedding of PCO and Steph DeLander. Matt Cardona made a surprise appearance and attacked PCO during the ceremony, joined by AJ Francis and Rich Swann. In other selected results, Jody Threat defeated Masha Slamovich, the Rascals beat Kushida, Mike Bailey, and Trent Seven, and Frankie Kazarian topped Ryan Nemeth. After the match, Josh Alexander laid out Ryan with the C4 spike. Ring of Honor streamed yesterday on Honor Club, featuring matches taped Saturday in Arlington, Texas. In the closing segment, Dustin Rhodes was attacked by the Dark Order during an in-ring promo, leading to the return of Sammy Guevara, who made the save. Rhodes was in action in the opening match, joining with Ross and Marshall Von Erich to successfully defend the ROH World Six-Man Tag Team title against the Iron Savages. In other selected results, Brian Cage beat Rocky Romero, Wheeler Yuta defeated Anthony Henry, the Beast Mortos topped AR Fox, and Robin Renegade upended Maya World. In ratings news, Wednesday's episode of Dynamite drew 609,000 viewers to TBS, according to Programming Insider. That's down from last week's audience of 786,000. In the 18 to 49-year-old demographic, the rating was a .18, down nearly one-third from last week's demo rating of .26. And finally, in WWE news, this year's edition of the Survivor Series is scheduled to take place on November 30th from the Rogers Arena in Vancouver, British Columbia, according to an official announcement yesterday from Paul Levesque. This year's edition will be the 38th annual installment of WWE's second longest-running premium live event. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.